It's time to reveal my latest draft, but before I get into it, make sure to join my FPL mini league if you haven't done so already. The code to join is on the screen. So first up in goal, I've gone for Andre Onana. Man United have definitely got a mixed bag of fixtures to start the season with, but 2 of their first 3 matches are at home to Wolves and Forest, so there's definitely a high chance of clean sheets there. In my opinion, going for Onana at 5 million is a fantastic way to cover one of the best defences in the division. Let's not forget, United kept 17 clean sheets last season. Other than Flecken, who we're not yet 100% sure will start, I don't think there's any decent 4.5 million keepers in the game this year, so I'm happy to spend a little bit more and ignore that spot in the team until my first wildcard. Pervis Estupiñán has been in every one of my drafts so far, and I just think you can't go wrong with a 5 million wingback with the 3 best fixtures to start the season with. Estupiñán returned 1 goal and 7 assists in the Premier League last campaign, and it wouldn't surprise me if he were to repeat that again this year. Although Brighton have lost McAllister to Liverpool, they're still one of the best attacking sides in the league, and Estupiñán continuously finds himself in very advanced positions down the left side of the pitch. He's most likely a set and forget for me going into the 23-24 season. One of the more controversial picks in my team is Ben Chilwell in place of Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's a fair few reasons for this. Firstly, Chilwell's playing well in pre-season, and it looks as though Pochettino's going to utilise him in a wing-back role really high up the pitch. Secondly, after their first fixture, Chelsea have an amazing run of games where they should pick up plenty of clean sheets. Thirdly, Trent's fixtures are tough, facing Chelsea, Newcastle and Villa in his first 4 matches, so clean sheets might be hard to come by. And finally, the downgrading of Trent really allows me to strengthen other areas of my team, as you'll see in just a minute. And lastly, in the back 3, I've gone for William Saliba. Now you might think I'm going for Saliba over Gabriel just to be different, but I honestly think he's the better option of the 2. He was outperforming Gabriel last year in FPL in terms of total points, before he unfortunately suffered an injury prior to game week 29. I personally believe he's the better defender of the 2. He picks up more bonus points, and Gabriel also tends to pick up more yellow cards. There is the argument that Gabriel has marginally better goal threat, and that Timber could come in for Saliba, but I reckon there's more of a chance of that happening in the Champions League. Just like Saliba and Estupiñán, Marcus Rashford has made it into every one of the drafts I've put together since the new game launched a few weeks back. Rashford really came into his element last season under Ten Hag, with 17 attacking returns in the second half of the campaign, which really caused him to make a mockery of his 6.5 million price tag. This season he's been priced more appropriately at 9 million, but I still think that's a great price, as he'll probably continue to be United's main avenue to goals. Another player who's seen a decent price increase this year following a fantastic campaign is Gabriel Martinelli, and he joins my midfield 5 for the start of the 23-24 season. I'm fairly sure that Arsenal will start the season strongly, especially given their fixture run over the first half a dozen game weeks. I've seen a fair few FPL drafts that have only gone for one single Arsenal attacker to start the season with, which I personally think is a risky move, especially considering the point ceiling that's there for their attacking assets. I still think that Martinelli offers great value for 8 million. Mitoma is probably the best 6.5 million option to go for in my opinion, alongside the likes of Mbemo and Eze. I think the key reason why Mitoma is currently so highly selected is the fact he seems nailed to start on the left wing for a Brighton side who are very attack-minded, and he also has great opening fixtures. The good thing about going for Mitoma in this spot is that there's plenty of assets around his price point to move to if he weren't to perform once the season gets going, and there's also the opportunity to change the formation entirely by replacing him with a budget midfielder. For the first time since the game launched, Bruno Fernandes joins my starting 11. There was a decision for me between having Trent and Mbemo, or Chilwell and Fernandes, and I just marginally favour the latter. Man United have 2 fantastic home matches in their first 3 fixtures, and I can see Bruno creating plenty of goal-scoring chances and also taking the lion's share of set pieces, so there's definitely returns to be had. I personally don't believe that the price tag of 8.5 million makes him essential, but I do think he's a good option, especially as he's about as nailed to start as any player in the division. Bukayo Saka is the final player to join the 5-man midfield. Ever since the FPL prices were revealed, Saka went straight into my team at 8.5 million. I think he offers great value for money. He's most likely nailed to start each week, takes some corners and of course has penalties. Arsenal have a fantastic run of fixtures to kick off the season with. The main thing I'm watchful of is to see whether Arteta decides to rotate when Champions League group matches come about. I'm packing the midfield with plenty of mid-price assets so that I'm able to jump easily off of one and onto another once the season gets underway. Erling Haaland gets the armband for the first week of the campaign. One of the most interesting debates I see circling the FPL community is whether to double or even triple up on City assets, especially given their ideal fixture run across the first 7 game weeks. For me, it's definitely high risk, high reward, and I don't think I'll be going there, mainly due to rotation and the fact City attackers historically don't tend to return FPL points on a consistent basis. Having said that, I don't think I'll be leaving Haaland out. His ceiling is just too high, and I can see him breaking even more records in the Premier League this season. The final place in my 11 goes to Christopher Nkunku. You might think this is a knee-jerk reaction based off of the pre-season friendlies Chelsea have just played, but if you go back to my previous draft video, you'll see Nkunku's already there. Surely having just spent that much money on him, Pochettino will be looking to start him every week, and the Blues have a fantastic opening run of fixtures. Even the opening home match against Liverpool could be a good game from an attacking point of view. Nkunku's got great attacking stats from the Bundesliga. Let's see if he's able to transition that into the Premier League. So my bench includes Areola, who at the time of recording is probably the most likely 4 million keeper to get starts this season. Pau Torres, who surely makes it into the Villa backline after previously winning the Europa League with Unai Emery. Bayer, who despite his blank in game week 2 should be first choice centre back for Burnley. And finally Semenyo from Bournemouth as my 4.5 million bench fodder striker. This draft leaves me with 0.5 million in the bank, which I definitely think could come in handy, especially if I wanted to upgrade one of those midfield spots. For example, moving Bruno Fernandes to Son or Mitoma to Sterling. I also like the look of Ollie Watkins, so if he were to start the season well, I'll be able to bring him in for Nkunku. So that's my latest draft. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Make sure to check out my latest video where I rank the best 6 to 9 million midfielders in FPL for the season ahead. And as always, cheers for watching guys, take care and I'll catch you again soon.